Hey guys, this is Martin Perdomo, the Elite Strategist, and I am here today with another one of my friends. Man, I love doing this because I get to interview a lot of my friends, and when you're in this business, to investing in real estate, and you're in the personal development space, and you're constantly attending seminars and workshops and in these circles, you just make the best of friends, and this is one of them. Anne Hillyard, she's a real estate investor. She's married. How long you been married, Anne?
24 years. My wife,
24 years, right? So a lifetime. She's been married for a long time. She's got two daughters, 19 and 22. She has 25 doors and she is financially free. And today I want to have her on here because I wanted her to share her journey with us, right? How her and her husband did it. She had a W-2 job and it took her some time to get it done, but she got it done. And I want to just bring her on here so we can discuss that and she can share her journey with you guys. And she's also having a summit of which I am a part of. And what's the name of your summit again?
rental income summit.
Landlord?
Rental income.
Rental Income Summit. Yes, Rental Income Summit. I was one of her speakers there. I am one of her speakers there. And that was a fun interview. I had a great time with you there. And guys, check that out. Where can people check that out?
They can check it out at rentalincomesummit.com/Martin.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna put that in the show notes here so you guys can check that out. But
Yeah,
anyways, I'm gonna get
it's going to be 3 days of interviews. There's going to be over 30 experts telling you, like showing you how to create monthly rental income and how to build lasting wealth. And if you already have properties, you will also learn how to like run them more smoothly and how to scale. So you can actually get to that financial freedom faster and even faster than I did because I took my time. But we have some experts that have strategies that if you implement those, you can be there by end of 2021. So
yeah. Well, thank you for considering me an expert because you invited me there. So thank you very much for that. I'm really grateful for that. So anyways, let's get right into it. And tell us about you. Tell us about who you are and how you got started in real estate.
Okay, so I am originally from Finland, which you can probably realize that I have pretty heavy accent here. And I happened to come to visit in the United States and met my future husband. And we got married pretty quickly. So 10 months after we met, we got married. And after we got married, we moved to Finland. But then once I got pregnant, he has had parents here who didn't have any grandchildren. And my parents in Finland still had young children. And and I was kind of missing the sunshine in Arizona. So we decided to come back to Arizona. And I decided to stay home with our first baby. But being at home, only having one breadwinner in the family, it just kind of felt like we need to create some extra income. And I was also worried, like, how am I ever going to retire? My husband worked for the state of Arizona, so he has a really good state retirement system. So I knew that he can retire from there. But for me, like, I wanted to have something. So luckily, I stumbled upon the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, the Robert Kiyosaki's book. And
Powerful book.
I know, I love that book and changed my life. So that opened my eyes to the cash flow investing. I'm very, very, very risk averse. So speculating is not for me. Like I don't have any stock market investments because I need more control. And reading that book, it was like, this gives me the control. This gives me a model that is like really, really hard to lose money on. And this gives me a strategy where I can get that monthly income coming in every single month. So I don't have to be a slave to some boss and go to work. So I can have the freedom and flexibility to be home and yet keep getting this paycheck even while I sleep. So that's how I got started.
So you read the book, you came across this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Those of you that haven't read that book, you have to, excuse me, you have to read that book. It's a #1 best-selling book in real estate. So you came across this book, and then what happened? Where did the light bulb go off? What was the conversation like with you and your husband, and what was the first deal that was done?
Okay, so the light bulb like more on me than my husband, the light bulb went off, but he have always been super supportive of my ideas, and he saw the value, and he was like, yeah, if you want to pursue that, that would be great. And so I was like, I'm going to start. But the bad news was I read that book on 2005 or like close to 2006. And then I'm like, now I'm starting, and I start like, I keep studying more. I read everything that I can find. I listen to like, uh, at that point, like CDs and cassette tapes, whatever. And,
Mm-hmm.
and so I educate myself, and I start looking at properties, and absolutely nothing cash flows in Phoenix. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what do I do now? And I'm like, I'm not speculator, so I'm not going to jump into that, what everybody else was doing. They kept buying and just trying to build wealth by like, they were just counting on
Appreciation.
and then,
They were betting on appreciation.
yeah, exactly. So I was not going to do that. So I was going to wait for the right opportunity to come along. And I kept educating myself. And then finally, when the market turned, I was like, my time has come. And I was able to like jump in and start buying like crazy because I had prepared for it. I had like educated myself. I had got our finances into the place where I know kind of how to go ahead and get deals done. So yeah, that's how I got started. But that's
That
what it
is
was like 2
amazing.
years in the beginning where I couldn't do anything because the market was too high. And with me being risk averse and really wanted to build a cash flow portfolio, it didn't make sense to buy anything. So sometimes you just have to be patient.
Hey, and I want to commend you for that. For starters, I want to commend you for your discipline, and I want to point that out. Okay, it's important that we point that out. You had clarity on your strategy, and you wasn't gonna buy because everyone else was buying. And let me ask you this question from one investor to another. What similarities are you seeing in that market in 2006 and in this market in 2020? What are the similarities that you're seeing in terms of what was happening then versus what was happening now versus what is happening now
Yeah.
in the market?
So, yeah, the values like least in Phoenix market and sounds like in a whole lots of places in the United States are going up like crazy. So it almost feel like we are in the kind of bubble that we were at that time. However, that time there was all that subprime lending, which is
Yes.
not happening now. And
Mhm.
then for Arizona itself, because of the pandemic, so many people now, like especially in California, all those people who were working on tech jobs or
Mhm.
IT field get to now work from home indefinitely. And whole lots of those are coming to Arizona. And that is partly what is making our prices go up. So I believe that, I mean, there are always cycles. So market goes up and market goes down. And
Yes.
this particular upturn have already been longer than most upturns that we get.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's time for it to go down. So I believe that that downturn has to be coming soon.
Mhm.
It can't last forever. But personally, looking at the Arizona market and what's driving our prices to go up, I think that we might not get such a huge crash compared to the last one. Like as a cash flow investor, like for me, like when market go down, that's the greatest opportunity because I get to buy
Mhm.
properties on a discount. So me personally, that would be a great thing. But I kind of don't think that we are going to be seeing that kind of decline in our market here, but every market is different,
Yep.
and
Yep.
people need to look at the fundamentals of their particular market.
That's interesting. You know, I tend to have a different point of view on that. I believe we're in a big bubble. I believe that the bubble we're in a tremendous bubble. I believe that it's not sustainable where we are, right? A property goes on the market and 2 days later or 3 days later, you have highest and best people paying $10,000, $15,000 over asking. I think that's a recipe for disaster. And it's only a matter of time before that bubble pops because this is just my perspective, okay? Just my logic and my perspective is that if those prices keep getting pushed up, overall, year over year, we're at 12.2% increase in overall in the real estate in the whole country, right? That's 12.2%. That's a big increase
That's a
one
huge
year.
That is a
1
huge.
year. And when you start considering that, what's happening to the regular working class? Regular working class people's pays are not keeping up with the increase. And like you said, we're not like in 2007, 2006, where subprime, right? It's tougher to get a loan right now. I got an 800 credit score and I got 2 months trying to refinance my own property, my personal property, with excellent credit score, right? And banks they're tough right now. Yes, you got great rates, but it's tough to get financing. So what I see, and is that as the market keeps getting artificially pushed up, right? What I think is that middle America eventually is going to price itself out, right?
Yeah.
Because incomes are not keeping up. So it's going to deflate hard. It's got to come down to regular income levels. So that's going to depend on how far pushed it gets. That's what I see. We all have different perspectives, but I think we both agree that most seasoned investors agree that there is going to be some sort of correction, because we're
absolutely. Yeah, I do agree on that. I was just saying that for Arizona particularly, it might not be quite as devastating correction as the last one was, because including the last time, like lots of the neighborhoods went down 75%. It was incredible.
That's rough. And that's when you went shopping, baby, right?
That's when I went shopping. I was like a kid in a candy store. I used to go to the REIA meetings, like real estate meetings. And like we have huge REIA here, like 800 members. And people were like so gloomy and so serious and basically in tears. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, because I was like, this is the best opportunity, but they were mostly flippers, so I can understand.
Guys, I want to point this out, okay? Success leaves clues. You know that I'm a big mindset guy, and I know we've been to a lot of events together. You and I have been to together. We're both warriors. We were just talking off air what a great experience that was for us. We're both trainers. I know Anne is also a certified speaker and a trainer. And what a mindset shift. What a beautiful mindset you had, that you was able to see opportunities. And I will tell you that I didn't have that mindset. So I commend you for that, right? You was able to see opportunities in that time. I didn't have the education that you had then, right? But you was able to go to a real meeting. People were gloomy, and you were like, what are you being gloomy about? This is a great opportunity for me as an investor. It should be all, rejoicing. And it's ethical opportunity, not rejoicing on people's sorrows, but it's just ethical. It's called ethical opportunity. It's called, you had discipline, you were smart, you had planned for it. And that's what I tell my students now, is like, plan for it, because there's going to be a correction. What are you doing right now to plan for the correction? What are you doing to go shopping when the opportunities come? What are you doing, right? So I love the fact that education that you invested in yourself, right? Reading, learning, going to things, events and things like that. And then having the discipline to hold out and being able to know your strategy and wait until the market opportunity presented itself and execute. I commend you for that, because that is a true investor, by the way. That is how an investor is supposed to play this game.
Thank you. I think that partly it was also fear, because I am risk averse. So I didn't want to have very tight margins. But yes, I had a very clear vision and goals. And when you have very clear vision and you have a very clear goal, then it's so much easier to.
Clarity is power. Guys, you're hearing Anne say it now. I'm not the only one saying clarity is power. Clarity is power. You're hearing her saying it. That's how she did it. So Anne, you became financially free, okay? All right. So what is that? First of all, let's tell people what financially free means to you. What does that mean to you? Because financial freedom has different meanings for different people. I like to know what it means to you.
So, and that's a really good question, because you asked me earlier, like how long it took you to get financially free. And I was like, probably around 10 years. And then I was like, well, actually, I take that back. So in the beginning, when I started, our bills were this big. And so I got to the point where I'm able to pay our bills pretty quickly. So I guess technically I was financially free. But for me, the financial freedom means that And that was great and gave me the flexibility to be home with my kids and all that. So nothing away from that. But then for me, the financial freedom is really being able to do what I love to do. And and some of those things, like I love to travel, so we travel a lot all around the world, and that takes a lot of money. So like, and now I'm also pursuing helping others to be successful cash flow investors, and putting together some of that type of stuff takes a lot of money too. And but I don't like, anyway. So for
It's a
me,
passion for you. You love it.
yeah, so for me, the financial freedom really is to having enough money where you can do the things that you love to do. You don't just pay your bills and barely get by, but you actually get to live the best, biggest life that you can live.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. We both went to same workshop, Millionaire Mind Intensive, and they taught us there that financial freedom is basically when your expenses and when your passive income is $1 over your your monthly expenses. So if your expenses are $1,000 a month and you're making $1,001, you're officially financially free. So I love that. It took you, you said 4 years to get financially free, Anne?
Probably something like that to get to the point where we could pay our bills. But then
Awesome.
I still feel free because on top of our regular bills, I have so many other aspirations. And coming from Finland, we want to go back every year, and we also want to do some other trips around the world and stuff like that. So until I was able to like fund my lifestyle, the ideal lifestyle, then I
love it.
Personally.
And that's what real estate investing can do for you, for those people listening, right? To be able to finance that freedom, that opportunity to travel for you. And so tell me, so how you're a risk adverse person. Tell me about your very first deal. How did you deal with the fear? Okay, because I'm also a conservative.
Yes.
I'm a conservative investor in terms of cash flow. I'm very clear on why I invest and why I'm doing certain things. But I want to know, what was your mindset and how did you deal with the little talk in the head, oh my goodness, this is my first deal. What if? How did you deal with that?
It was extremely scary, I must tell you. Like I had repaired for like 2 years, and when the market started going down, and then it was like, then I ran numbers and I'm like, yeah, this one's actually cash flow, so I can actually now get something. And I have to say that I don't know if I would have had the courage to actually pull the trigger on the investment if it wouldn't have been for a mentor. Like I didn't really have like tons of extra money, so I needed to save my money for my investments. So I couldn't like hire a mentor, or maybe I didn't even know who I would have been able to hire. But I got super lucky that I met the local realtor, who also, she was a lady like me. She was actually a single mom, and she owned rental properties herself. And so I started using her as my agent. And because she had the experience, I was able to like trust her advice. And when I started getting the little voice and I was starting to second guess myself and be like, but what about if I can't find tenants for this house after all? What about if my tenants destroy the whole place? Like she was able to tell me like, just relax. Like there are tenants everywhere. You can find tenants and just relax. Just get a good security deposit in place. And if there are some damages, it's not going to be a big deal. And so having a mentor, having somebody who can like guide you and encourage you is key, especially a diverse person like me. So that was definitely the key. And then after I got the first one done, I was still super nervous, but then things got easier. Next one, I was still nervous, but not nearly as nervous. And then by fourth, I didn't even like, it was easy.
You just went for it. You're just like, this is normal. That's awesome. That's great. So mentor, that's a big thing. And a lot of people miss that, right? A lot of people they're listening to podcasts like this, they're watching videos and they never take action, right? And a lot of it is because they're on their own and they're in their own little world and they're not showing up. You were showing up to RIA meetups. You know, and
Yes.
that's one of the things that I keep telling my students, and I keep mentioning in this podcast, is show up to the meetings, show up to where other investors are. That's where you're going to find a mentor. That's where you're going to find a partner. That's where you're
Yeah.
going to find your money. That's where you're going to get the education you need to do this. That's where you're going to learn what you need to learn about your market, where you are.
Yeah.
And what is the one thing that you do that has gotten you the most success?
I mean, I think that it is getting the education, and when I decide, and actually determination, like when I decide to do something, I go deep into it and I like really drill in and geek out on it. And so I think that it's that really.
That's
I
that's
forgot
that
to
war,
do
that's
that.
that warrior attitude, girl.
Yeah, warrior attitude for sure. I think I was born with it, so that kind of
Yeah,
helped.
yeah. So that determination. So you're determined to win. You're determined and committed to your success,
Yes,
basically, right?
yes.
Let me ask you a question. How does one convince their spouse? How does one convince their spouse to join them in this journey of real estate investing? Because maybe there's someone out there listening that has a spouse, and they want to invest in real estate. They've been listening to us for a while, and they're like, I want to learn I really want to do this, but how do I get my wife on, or my husband on, in line with me? How do I sell it to them? How did you do that? How does one get their spouse to support them in this journey of financial freedom and real estate investing?
So I don't know if I have a very good answer because I was super, super lucky with my husband. So from the beginning, he have always said like we are equals and we will, yeah, we are equals. And he always wanted to support me, whatever I do, and I support him, whatever he does. And he knew from the beginning that I have more aspirations than just to stay at home. So he was like really supporting from beginning. So I didn't really need to do any convincing with him. But I guess I would say for somebody whose spouse is skeptical, to maybe show some case studies, like maybe find somebody who have been successful. And first of all, if you find somebody who have been successful, maybe kind of learn to know them and have them come up visit and kind of chat and have them hear about those conversations. But then also just maybe show some case studies. And especially if you were going to focus on rentals like I did, it's very easy to show that there's very minimal chance of losing money if you buy right.
Mm-hmm.
Then for them to actually see that on a paper might be something that will, because I think there are people who think that whole real estate stuff is like it's scammy and whatever. So to actually, I don't know, I'm a numbers person, so maybe for me the numbers, if I saw the numbers, that
Gotta
will
make
make
sense.
for some others maybe it doesn't. So I don't really have a good answer for you,
That's
unfortunately.
fine. That's fine. I mean, that was a good enough answer. My next question is, tell me, why did you choose real estate versus not another? Was that why did you choose real estate? Why not go into, another line of business?
So I actually, when I decided that I need to get some extra income, so you put it out at the universe and things kind of you start noticing things. And there was a few like network marketing type opportunities that came to my way, and I looked into them, but I was like, no way, like these are not for me. Like I don't want to be there like selling all the time. Plus, I need to create something that can be a passive business if I want it to be. And with the rental investment, you can pretty much make it passive if you just hire a property management company, and then I can be, because I wanted to have the freedom to be anywhere in the world doing anything that I want to do. And then I luckily it was that book, because I didn't really know anything about real estate investing, but luckily that Robert Kiyosaki's book happened to come my way, and then that opened my eyes, and it was like, this is what I have been looking for all my life.
That's great. I mean, that's really good. Let me ask you another question. If there's a woman out there, right? Because I have a female partner. You know my partner,
Yeah.
Danielle. She's a fellow. She's a warrior. She's one of my partners. I have a few partners, and in a lot of times, what we find in our industry is, and I know a lot of successful real estate investors, female real estate investors, and a lot of times I know because I have a lot of female friends. A lot of the challenges that in talking to some of my female friends is they think that real estate investing is more of a man's game and it's more of male dominated game. If there's a female out there listening to this, what would you have to say to that? What advice would you tell them if that's what they're thinking?
I would tell them that it actually is an advantage to be a female on this field.
I love the reframe. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes.
But
yes,
it's
yes.
actually true. Yeah, it's totally true. Because first of all, if you want to go after off-market properties, and if you do any direct mailings or direct marketing, lots of sellers are less intimidated talking to female than male. So then they might call me worse than they would call to some of these male competitors. So that's a benefit. And then working, I mean, I have done some flips. So there was like from 2016 to 2018, I did lots of flips also. So then you work with contractors all the time, and it is very manly world there. But I found that everybody took me seriously and respected me. And yeah, I didn't really find anything negative. Like, I think.
Well, you're educated, right? So I think the biggest thing is that you're an educated investor. So you can't be, you're disciplined and you're investing. You know your stuff, right? So when you know your stuff, it doesn't matter. Sex doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're male,
right? Yeah, and that's what I tell a lot of my female students is know your stuff. Who cares? Like,
yeah, and I think that maybe sometimes I'm able to be more direct with my like contractors and things, and they don't maybe take it as they take it better than if a male was like, hey.
Yeah, correct. Let me tell you, man, I gotta tell you this. My business partner, Danielle, which she is freaking tough, dude. Like, she is one of the toughest negotiators I know. She is super tough. It's one of the things I love about her because, man, when she is negotiating and she's going in, like, I just got to back off and let her do her thing because she is just going and looking for the best deal for us. She is just relentless when it comes to it. And I love it, and it's, and I know, hey, she's stepping up. Let her take reins. She's doing what she's doing. She's doing her thing. So to the women out there, I tell you, just know your stuff. Just get educated, and sex doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What advice would you give to your younger investor self? What's the advice that you now, looking back, I mean, 2006, that's a long time. That's what, 14 years, right? You've been investing now 14 years.
Yeah.
So
first 2 years, I couldn't really do much other than learn.
Yeah, but you started this journey in 2006. So what would you tell your younger self now? So if there's someone listening, right? There's a man or a woman listening, doesn't matter, and they're young, they're maybe in their 20s, or, what advice would you tell them that you would have given to yourself when you was younger, as a young investor?
I would tell them, like, get started sooner and try to get past being quite so risk averse as I was, because we could have scaled way faster. And then also get more mentors, like pay for some mentoring, because in the beginning I didn't pay for anybody to mentor me. I was just reading books and listening tapes and learning on my own. If I would have actually paid for somebody in the beginning, I would have been able to like scale so much faster and get to that my ideal financial freedom like way faster than I personally did. So pay for mentors and get started like immediately. And I know right now market is high, so there might not be anything that you can purchase right now that makes sense, but get started with your education. So when that time comes, you are ready to jump in, because it's amazing when you get to buy properties when they are deeply discounted, and then your payments on those properties will be so much lower, and you can actually get a nice margin, like nice cash flow coming in every single month that you can pay your bills with and enjoy. Can I say one more thing, completely like a little bit off the topic?
Yes, ma'am.
You asked about women, and this is same for men or women, but it applies a little more about women because women more often stay at home. So one more advantage, or if you happen to be a stay-at-home mom as I was, if you start doing this, you can get a real estate professional status. And it's not like you don't get real estate license, you don't get any, you don't have to take any education for it, but in your taxes, you can file yourself as real estate professional if you track your hours and you get certain amount of hours looking at properties and just kind of even studying for your real estate.
150 hours a year.
Yeah. And so then if you have a spouse who has a W-2 income, you get to deduct all the, like with the real estate, you get like so many tax deductions that often even if you are getting really good monthly income that you can spend in your taxes, you can show negative because you get to deduct so many things. And if one of the spouses has the real estate professional status, then you get to deduct all those deductions, all those losses, which are not real losses, but paper losses from your spouse's income. And like lots of those years, we paid zero taxes basically. So like for women, if you are stay-at-home mom and if you feel like you should get little income coming in, the real estate is the thing to do, because not only will it give you the income that you don't have to like go to work for, it will also give you amazing tax advantages.
So ladies, I'm always talking about in this podcast, I'm always talking about here with my mentees when I speak on a stage, surround yourself with the right people. You said it, get a mentee, get a mentor, go to RIA meetups. You repeated everything, the mindset, right? All that stuff you've talked about. And wouldn't it be awesome to surround yourself with someone like Anne, to be able to have that conversation? Because you know what? A lot of people don't have the opportunity, and including myself, I didn't have the opportunity to have these kind of conversations. Those are high level conversations. Real estate professional designation. Go help you against your taxes. Don't pay tax. Like those are not conversations that most people have with their regular friends, right? It's only people in business, people in our business, people doing things in our business. And so where do you find people like Anne, right? Because guess what? These are the people I want to hang out with, people like Anne, people that can give me information like that. This information is not readily available, right? Unless you have a really good accountant, right? Or unless you're in this circle, traveling in a circle. Where are people like Anne? Well, she's hosting events, like her event that she's hosting, right? That's what she's doing. She's showing up at those events. That's where I met Anne, by the way, guys. I met Anne at an event. This is, I keep saying this to my students, birds of the same feather flock together, right? So where are people like you and I? You know where we are? Learning, educating, getting better, figuring out ways to get better, right? I mean, we've done a bunch of stuff together, and you and I. We've been through a bunch of courses together. So I just wanted to point that out to the listeners, that, I always, in my earlier days as an investor, I always wanted to be around people like yourself, right? Be around people like me now, the version of me now that can teach me and show me. And I still do, and I still do. I'm flying to Florida in a few weeks to be to an exclusive event that I was invited to for high-level operators. And they invited me to this event, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward being the person that knows the least with the least amount of doors in the room. That excites me, because you know what that means? That means there's a lot of growth for me. That means that I'm going to go in this room and there's people doing way more than me, and it's going to just expand my thinking. It's going to take me to the next level, and I'm going to sit with the CEO of this company. It's a very intimate group, for 4 days. I'm going to sit with the CEO of this company that's taken this company from 0 to 12,000 doors in 5 years. And I'm just excited for that. I get excited for those kind of things, because that's where you grow, right? Where I could sit there and just take it all in and ask these guys questions. And what do you think? And what's your ritual? What's your mindset? How do you scale? How did you do that? How did you do this? You know what I mean? And so thank you. I just want to share that with you. Thank you so much. You gave us so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much. Thank you. One last question is, what advice would you give to anyone listening right now, 2020? We're going through this pandemic, going through all these changes. We talked about the potential bubble we're in and all of these things happening right now. And they want to get involved in real estate, but they don't know anyone. They don't have money, because that's the biggest limiting belief. That's the biggest story, is I don't have money, or they're saying I don't have money, or I don't know anyone, I don't know enough. What advice would you give that person right now listening to reach their financial freedom? Because this is ultimately about financial freedom.
Absolutely. So first of all, get the free ticket. Actually, the Rental Income Summit is a free event. So get your free ticket to the rentalincomesummit.com/Martin. So go in there and you can claim your free ticket. And that can be your start to get educated. So now is truly the time to get educated, because when that bubble bursts, if we are in a bubble, then that is the time to really, like, that will speed up your way to financial freedom. Like, it could truly speed it up. So, but if you don't educate yourself right now, you won't be ready. Like, your mind is not ready, and then your finances are not ready.
Yes.
And then you miss those opportunities. And then like 5 years from now, you kick yourself, you look back like, oh my gosh, those properties were like so cheap then, and now they are back up on value. And I should have done it then. And like, you don't want to miss this opportunity. And as far as the finances go, there are so many ways to finance your purchases without your own money or credit. And actually on this summit, Rental Income Summit, we have a lot of experts that will be sharing how to get properties without your own funds. And I actually, like on the 2011, 12, 13, like banks really tightened up things where we were not, even though my husband had W2 job, we were still having really hard time getting, just like you said, like right now you are having hard time refinancing your own house with a good credit. And so we basically like were not able to get bank loans at that point either, but we were able to get private money, and there's like a whole lots of creative ways to do it. So if you have like, if you say to yourself, I can't do it because I don't have money, or I can't do it because I don't have time, or I can't do it because I don't know anybody, those are all excuses, because there's like way to get past every one of those and start your journey. And then the other thing, if you say like, I don't know anybody, so like Martin said, there's a whole lot of us out there, and every one of us, it might seem, if you're like very beginner and you hear this interview and you're like, oh no, they have so many doors and they are so successful already. But we are just the regular people. We
That's
put
right.
on one leg at a time, and not that long ago we were in the same situation. I mean, for me personally, I was a stay-at-home mom from a foreign country with a heavy accent. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And on top of that, like, I, just like Martin, have like heart that like wants to help others. So just reach out to people. Like, most people will help you, and don't be afraid. I know I felt super small when I was still like in the very beginning, and I felt kind of not worthy of somebody else's time. But it, like, get your mindset right, and then you can reach out and get the help, because people are willing to help and happy to help.
That is amazing, amazing content advice that you just gave. So rentalincomesummit.com/Martin, right? I'm gonna put that in the show notes. Awesome. And how can people get a hold of you if they wanted to just email you, or just thank you for this, or just maybe they want you to mentor them? I mean,
so you can contact me.
So how they get a hold of you? Okay,
so I also recently founded a Rental Income Academy, and I don't have much there yet because we are still in the process of building up the site. But you can email me at Anne spelled at ANNE, Anne at rentalincomeacademy.com. And as far as the summit, so the summit goes live on 18th, 19th, and 20th of November, and you can get your free ticket by going to the rentalincomesummit.com/Martin. And once you get your free ticket, there's going to be an option if you want to start learning immediately, if you don't want to wait till the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So lots of the interviews are pre-recorded and already loaded to the membership site. And there's a small payment. If you make a small payment, then you can get instant access to those interviews, and you can actually start learning like today. So
That's awesome.
For some people like me who is like eager to learn and eager to learn as much as possible and as fast as possible. So we created the all access pass so people like me can like get in there right away. So if you're like me and want to learn as much and as fast as possible, then get the all access pass and you can start right away. Otherwise, it's free from November 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Got it. That's great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Anne. Thank you very much, my dear, for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you. I mean, this was so awesome. And guys, if you want to get a hold of Anne, I'm going to have all of her information in the show notes. And again, the event is the 18th and 19th of November.
18th, 19th, and 20th of November. And each day we have like 10 or more real estate experts showing you how to build the rental income and lasting wealth.
Yep. And I'm one of the speakers there, guys. So go ahead and check it out. You know, Anne is bringing nothing but pure value to you guys. So, Anne, again, thank you. And this was awesome. And we hope to have you back on here soon. Hopefully, you know what? We're going to have you back on here when the correction starts to happen, because I want us to chat about what's your strategy then and what you're doing then. So, you know, the listeners can model what you're doing. It's always good to, you know, it's always good to get different perspectives. So I want to definitely have you on here whenever that correction begins to happen.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, my dear.